Welcome back to a non-celebratory episode of Cookies and Milk.
Yeah,
I'm your host, William.
I'm your host, Ben.
It's episode 102.
102, the big 102.
We don't have anything to talk about.
Oh, God, we got nothing. Unfortunately, if you guys were ever wondering exactly how many times you can talk about video games and, like, snacks and just various media for 30 minutes to an hour, the answer is...
Sometimes just 25 minutes.
The answer is 100 episodes.
Oof.
And 100, some of those episodes are just like,
15 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. This is a 10-minute episode.
Oh,
That's-
can't do that.
That's our new podcast style. Is we're one of those short podcasts.
Bad.
You hook up, you getting ready for a long drive. You're trying to sit down and enjoy some content. You're like, oh, I'll catch up on Cookies and Milk. And little did you know, you can catch up on.
Us 10 times over.
You can get in 2 episodes of The Adventure Zone or
The entirety
20 episodes
of the back
Cookies and Milk.
catalog. Let's talk about podcasts.
I think I would rather talk about save points in video games.
Absolutely. Let's get on that.
So, because if we're going to talk about podcasts, you sort of have to talk about them as like a commitment.
Yeah.
Especially on Spotify, like my issue always comes like, oh, I'm doing this thing on my phone, so I can play a Spotify podcast in the background, and then I get home, or I'm going home, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to a podcast on the drive home. I want to listen to music.
We're listening to we're eating Oreos.
Yeah, normal Oreos. Nothing special about these Oreos.
Don't say it like
Except
that.
they're delicious.
Okay.
But that's not special. That's commonplace for
That's
cookies.
the quid pro quo.
I would hope they're delicious.
You hear that, Nabasco?
That's the least they can do for me.
It doesn't say Nabasco anywhere, does it?
No, it just says Oreo.
Interesting.
So, speaking of games, we can talk about save points as a method of it. Because when a game doesn't have autosaves, it doesn't have a manual save feature, like you can just pause it and save it,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it's a commitment. We have been doing a great job to work this kind of game out of our life.
Yeah.
Not you and me, but games as a whole.
So, let's talk about this. Skyrim. I've been playing Skyrim recently.
Yeah.
Just playing through it. I don't got much else going on. And I'm playing it on like a survival mode type thing. Like I need to eat, drink, sleep whenever I can. But I can save whenever I want. And I can quick save too. So I'm constantly quick saving. Because I love it. I love quick saving as a concept, even though it's just normal saving that
Yeah.
disappears after the next quick save, which is fine. If I'm going to make a big decision, I'm going to save it normal. But if I'm just scared of a outcome that I can't choose, I'll just quick save.
Yeah, it's just safe to quick save so you always can just hop back.
But here is the thing about... I'll compare it. My current Fallout 4 playthrough with my current Skyrim playthrough. Skyrim has a different difficulty, and it's a difficulty to always try again. Right? I'm thrown in a room. If I fail the room, I can try it again with a different approach. Fallout 4, I'm playing survival mode. Real survival mode. Where, like, thirst and hunger are... it's made by the developers, not like a mod tacked on.
Yeah.
Thirst, sleep, food items are changed, all that kind of thing. And saving is nigh impossible.
Because you have to be in a bed.
You have to sleep. And sleeping also has a problem. Mattresses, dirty mattresses, and sleeping bags are the types of bed you can find. Sleeping bags, you can only sleep for 3 hours max.
Is that enough to save?
It is enough to save, but it is not enough to cure your exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, and you cannot fast travel. You can fast travel all you want in Skyrim, unless you turn it off, which I did in another playthrough I did, and it was interesting. It made me explore a lot when I was just wandering the world.
Run into a lot of mountains.
You run into a lot of mountains, and you just see a lot of things.
I hated that about Skyrim. That was my
Mountains?
least favorite part of Skyrim. Yeah, it was like, all right, I want to go from point A to point B, and it's like,
It did with mountains.
can you climb a mountain? And I'm like, can I climb a mountain? And it's like, no,
Maybe.
maybe halfway.
Do you have the gall to tackle a Bethesda workaround?
Jump, jump, jump.
I had to do that in the Thieves Guild. I was doing a quest. Spoilers for the Thieves Guild. I was doing a quest where I had to break into Mercer Frey's mansion, right? And
Is that before or after you go with the leader to break into the final area for the Thieves Guild? I guess it's probably it's before it, right?
it's after.
Is it really?
Ben, do you know who Mercer Frey is?
Is he the guy with the sword?
Yes.
Oh, the guy who does the... Oh, yeah, he's my friend.
I just bit my knuckles.
You've been doing that a lot today.
Yeah, it's just there was a fun little bit in a podcast of someone being like, "Oh, I'm really glad." Like one of the player characters found out that someone was dying or like
Yeah.
had a terrible illness, and an NPC they've been traveling with didn't find it out. So they just turned to that NPC and they're like, "Oh, I'm really glad you're still alive and healthy while everything else is dying around us." And then the player character's like, "I bite my fist," like an over dramatic sitcom character. But I'll just say it now because you're never gonna do it.
I can't do
You
it.
can't do it.
So go ahead.
Mercer Frey betrays you.
Yes.
It's an interesting thing where Mercer Frey doesn't tell you the whole truth. He tells you a lie, actually.
So he doesn't tell you the truth at all.
But so it's one of those things where if you had gotten into the fight with Carlia, the elf, it would have been you just kill her, and Mercer Frey just goes back to doing Mercer Frey things.
Yeah. But
Carlia paralyzes you with an arrow that was meant for Mercer Frey, but then Carlia runs because she knows she can't beat Mercer Frey.
oh, she can't beat Mercer Frey.
Right. Okay.
I'll tell a story about my friend Mercer Frey after this
Okay.
one. I probably already told it on the
Oh
podcast.
no, your
but-
friend. I bite my. Did you finish Oreos already?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I still have 2 to go.
Yeah, I took a peek and I realized that you had 2 more. But I was already I was not convinced. I was
Convinced
dead
I was
set.
already done. Or-
No, I was I was putting down my 3rd or 4th. Are we recording?
Yeah.
I was putting down my 3rd or 4th.
We're only at 8 minutes though.
And I was like, I'm just not gonna stop. I'm gonna put it all down. And then I made my fingers real cold in the milk.
And I looked in the mirror and I'm like, what have I become?
Who is that?
But so Mercer Frey turns to you while you're poisoned, while you're paralyzed and stuff, and he's like, "Well, it's a good thing this happened, so I can just kill you now." And he stabs you and makes you bleed out. But it was one of those things like, "Oh, the paralysis stopped your blood flow just enough, so you didn't." And then Carlia saves you, and it's one of those things where it's like, we got to figure out where Mercer Frey went because he also duped the guild.
Yes.
And so it's like he has a mansion.
Was he perhaps?
He's not in it, but of course, because he's a thief, he never goes in it.
There's some hints to where he might be.
Right. So, in order to get into the mansion, you simply have to deal with a person named Vald, who is just in debt to Maven Blackbriar. You can do it by just going in there and killing him,
Yeah.
picking the key, and then killing him. Well, you have to pick the key from his back pocket, or talk to him through the gate once you have cleared his debt, which involves just going to find a boat underwater that Vald crashed while getting a thing for Maven, but it doesn't matter. And so, once you get in there, you need to shoot a mechanism on a balcony that has a ramp on the second floor that lowers down so you can get into the house because the front doors are barred shut and the back doors are barred shut on the first floor.
That's pretty cool.
The mechanism didn't drop.
Oh.
I sat there. I sat there for like a good solid 30 minutes just like shooting into the mechanism. I filled it with arrows, and it's like, you just shoot where the arrow's pointing you. And I shot. I was always doing that, and it did not work. And I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, the issue might be that you deal with Vald peacefully. And it's like, excuse me.
Huh?
I'm supposed to, excuse you, what? And it's like, just sneak in. Fire an arrow at the mechanism, it'll drop, and then you can pacify Vald. Pacify him with a spell, and then talk to him normally and get the debt freed. I tried that.
Didn't work?
I tried that, and it did not work. I could not shoot the mechanism down, and while Vald was breathing down my neck with the sword, or like an axe or something, it does not matter what Vald was wielding.
Who cares about Vald?
And I'm like, there's got to be a way to jury-rig this, right? It's Skyrim. And they're like, get onto the Temple of Mara roof. Just jump on one of the sconces.
Oh, going through a window?
Not through a window. Just jump on one of the sconces, like one of the big torch holders that is right in front of the Temple of Mara. You jump onto the building from there. The Temple of Mara is like it's like a almost vertical.
Level one, right?
It's the level one, right? It's like a
big old dangle
trapezoid, right?
That's what I said.
Almost. Like it's multiple trapezoids, but it's like almost it's very steep.
Sure.
Like a mountain. So, but it all wanted you to have the whirlwind sprint.
You didn't have whirlwind sprint.
And here's the thing. I have been playing this character who has not progressed in the main story.
Oh, whirlwind sprint is a shout?
Yes.
Oh.
I have not talked to Jarl Balgruuf. I went to Riverwood and then immediately to Solitude.
Yeah, because why would you play this story?
Why would I play this story? I would play a game that I don't need to use shouts in. I'm just going to accrue one-a-day use R1 abilities. I have two now. I have one that's a Nightingale thing and one that's just my race perk. But so I'm like, I don't have Whirlwind Sprint. I can't jury-rig this without progressing the... No! And so I did a loop. I had to do a loop. But doing the loop makes Vald aggressive to you. Because you go into his protection zone.
Yeah.
So I went around, and it was just him. It's just him. He does not get any guards on you or anything. It's just Vald looking up at you while you go up the Temple of Mara. And it's not... So, going around, you would... when you move far enough on the roof, it's just like you cannot move left or right. You're just
straight
moving on that plane, and you sometimes jut up.
And you need to just keep jutting up.
I just had to keep jutting up,
like you're speed running it.
Yeah, like I'm speed running it. So I eventually jutted up. I wonder if I can do that, like, just not even as the Thieves Guild. I can just do that. I can go in there as my big warrior. And do that, and just get into Mercer's house, and then be in the Thieves Guild.
So how did you get into the house?
So here's the thing. I got to the little outcropping, right? Like a doorway thing.
Sure.
That's where I got eventually, and I'm like, all right. So this is where like they do the whirlwind sprint because I see the balcony, but
you have to get over there.
I have to get over there. I cannot get the ramp down.
The whirlwind sprint.
Right. So I'm like. I keep going the trapezoid, and I get to the edge of the roof, and I just fling myself, and I get to the outer edge.
So the
fence of the balcony, and I'm like, I'm not done! And so I just start mashing the triangle button, and I get on the fence, and I get into the house, and then Vald's there. Vald has followed me from the balcony, and he's still aggressive. I'm like, I don't want to kill you, I did a side quest for you! And luckily,
So you had still done the side quest when you attempted all this?
I had still done the side quest when I attempted it. Because I thought it would be simple.
Yeah, of course.
So...
You thought it would work.
I thought it would work. I thought Skyrim would work. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's...
But I'm playing a character who's like... I'm like role-playing a character.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't look for needless blood. So he wouldn't want to kill Vald immediately. Which, I guess that's bad for Skyrim. But it's one of those things. It doesn't matter. I chose an Imperial, and they have their one-a-day thing is to calm all surrounding enemies.
Oh, that's your... I saw you do that the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought that was a shout.
No, it looks like a shout. But so... I was able to do that with Vald. I talked to him, I gave him the debt, and he left the balcony. And so I eventually had to jump off and probably almost die. But it was just... Getting in there was so good.
It was better than the actual
It was
quest
better than the
itself.
actual quest itself.
Yeah, that sounds like a great time. I wish my Skyrim stories were that fun. Was that like a signal to go? With the...
Yeah, tell me about your cool friend Mercer Frey.
So I've definitely talked about this before, about the fellowship I made in Skyrim.
Yeah. The guy who you have to give to cannibals, Barbas, another dog, and Lydia, right?
The vampire is Lydia?
Serana?
I got the vampire too.
You got... Oh, right, yeah, I have Serana right now. I could have gotten Serana and Mercer Frey as well.
Yeah, so, Mercer Frey is not actually like an
companion.
A companion.
Well, Serana also isn't, but she stealths when you stealth.
And that's the thing.
That's the thing.
So, Matt Mercer gives you a quest.
Wait a minute.
Mercer Frey gives you a quest where he's like, meet me here, and we'll go into this dungeon together. And the dungeon is where he betrays you, I assume.
Yes.
Um,
And your follower can't accompany you there.
they can.
No,
Oh, into the dungeon?
into the dungeon.
Sure. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because he has the key to the dungeon, and he unlocks it. But he demanded that I unlock the dungeon. He's like waiting for me to unlock it, but I couldn't unlock it. I didn't have the key to the dungeon. He has the key to the dungeon. So
you go up to the door and press A, right?
I did. I'm sitting there and pressing the button. I'm like,
Did he not follow you?
he didn't follow me. He's just standing there. He's like, "Oh, what are you waiting for? Open the door." Or I don't know if he says that.
I think if you go back there, he will, and you get him to follow you, he will come down the steps and do it.
Well, here's the thing.
You gave up, and you
I don't
realized
want
you had
to.
a party member.
Yeah, I wanted to have a party member instead. So, what is that? Yeah, so he is the worst of my party members because I am at
'Cause
least
he doesn't
a
stealth.
little bit into stealth. But this guy, the leader of the Thieves Guild,
Does not stealth.
does not. Dude walks up with double broadswords
Yeah.
and starts tearing dudes up. I'm like, all right, guys, quiet down. I'm gonna try and take out that dude with the bow and arrow. And he's like, get out of my way. We have to get into there. We have to. Somebody's betraying the Thieves Guild.
It's you!
I don't even remember why we go into that. What is he? Somebody's stealing from the Thieves Guild, and we
Someone's
have to go...
making... Okay. Someone is making Mercer Frey look bad in front of Maven Blackbriar,
Maybe speaking.
Mavis Bacon, because she's typing better than him. But it's like they take something called Golden Glow Estate out from under the Thieves Guild, like as a thing. So it looks like they bungled that, and their luck is already bad, so they're like on hard times. But that's also because of Mercer's fault.
It's all Mercer's fault.
It's literally all Mercer's fault.
But he's like, somebody's making me look bad. We gotta go kill him.
Yeah, so the person making them look bad is an original member of the Thieves Guild. And like he says, like, oh, she killed the old leader of the Thieves Guild, and like I saw it happen.
But he did that.
But he did it and framed her and then took the guild for himself, which he then took went back on his like oath to a god, and stole a thing from her
Christ,
that they're
Mercer.
that they're supposed to protect, and that is why all the Thieves Guild luck is gone, because that's her thing.
He's got a lot to atone for.
And then he steals all of the Thieves Guild gold.
Yes.
It's like, hey, open the treasury real quick. And they open the treasury, and it's the classic, all the chests are open and empty.
Nice.
And they're like, Mercer took it all, that son of a bitch.
Does he do that before or after he betrays you in that dungeon? Is that after?
Can you open the door in the Thieves Guild when he's in your party? No, you cannot. So it's after.
So he's got a lot to atone for, but we're working through it. He's trying his best.
I hate you.
But no, yeah, my party in my fellowship in Skyrim.
You haven't played it for 3 years.
Mercer, because I did it. What else was there to do? I should just do like the final confrontation, just because of how fun it would be to just do like the fight with Alduin or whatever.
With 5 people.
5 dudes. Because there's a quest where you're supposed these cannibals hit you up, and they're like,
these cannibals hit you up.
and they're like, hey, we got somebody we really want to eat.
A cannibal booty call, if you will.
They want to eat his booty, but not in the good way, in the bad way, where
no.
they eat him alive. I'm probably dead. I don't know. I don't know what they want. I'm never gonna figure it out.
You get like Nimira stuff that one of the Daedric princes.
But so I went and found him, and I was like, "Can you follow me for a second?" What I assumed was going to happen was that I would tell him to go there, and then I would meet him there to complete the quest. Not what happens. He follows you. That's the best. We're going someplace else.
Yeah.
I walked into the DLC where you do the vampire stuff.
You got her out of the first cave, and that was it.
Yeah, I got up to the thing, and she was like, "I have an Elder Scroll."
And you're like, "Whatever, you're
I'll
a follower
follow
that
you.
stealths."
And I was like, "Oh, you sure will. Let's get going." God, I hope there's no quest that remove all my fault. There is. There's one where you go into the Heart of Daedra, the Star of whatever nonsense.
Star of it. Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you did, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Star of Azura.
And it's
Azura's
like, you just
star.
get thrown in there to fight the dude and a golem, or he is the golem.
It's like him and a bunch of magic beasts.
And I can't do it.
Yeah, because you're a weak little Argonian.
Yeah, because like my little Argonian was like, why fight? I'm gonna shoot one stealth arrow into a target, and then this dungeon is gonna light the fuck up.
I think he makes multiple versions of himself.
He probably does, and
I'm gonna cast a bad conjuration.
so I walked in there and I was like, "Let's get him, guys! Guys, eat
I
this."
specialized in one-handed only, and then a magic in the other.
Eat this double fire magic,
Double flames.
and then I'll pull out my double stealth maces to really show you what for. And then he kills me.
The slowest weapons in the game, and you decide to dual wield.
Oh god, I'm so bad at Elder Scrolls games.
Okay, I have too many swords as my thief character.
Oh, also in my thing, I couldn't do the Mages Guild because there's
Because the Amulet of Sarthal thing, or the
big
one of
orb.
the first,
it's a big orb.
the Orb of Sarthal.
It's like the middle thing.
The middle thing.
You get a
glitched.
key in the beginning, and it opens every door through the whole dungeon. And then I got to the last one, and I was like, time to pull the key out of my pocket, and the key was gone. The key got broken, I guess, at the last door, and I couldn't open it anymore. There was an expert lock next to it, but I'm assuming that's just for an extra secret thing. I also couldn't pick it. Don't have any lockpick.
Don't have any. No. You know, if you do the Mercer quest long enough, you can kill Mercer and get the skeleton key,
Which opens any door.
which opens any door, and you don't have to return it
Here's the
to
thing.
finish the Thieves Guild quest.
Here's the thing. I can't do either quest anymore.
I know.
These are
Do the companions.
I did accidentally walk into the dungeon. Do you remember the time when I walked back up to the cannibals? They were
Yes, and I'm like, Ben, you don't want to do that. I was like,
You were like, you don't want to do that. And I was like, it's fine. And then I walked in, and they were like, we've been expecting you. And the guy who's gonna get eaten is like, what is this? And I was like, nope.
Yeah.
I don't care how far back that save is. Going back to it.
Keep the fellowship. You just also picked up Barbara's and an abandoned dog.
2 dogs.
2 dogs.
I think it was 2 dogs.
If you go to Solstheim, you can get another pet.
Oh.
You can get a pet. You can get a Riefling.
That's the little dude.
It's a little dude that
I thought you had to switch something out for that.
You do, but here's the thing. Did I tell this on the podcast?
Maybe. It's episode 102. We've talked about everything on the podcast.
Yeah, the mule and the Riefling.
Maybe. I don't know. I talked about the fellowship again. You're allowed to talk about
The thing with that. So I brought Mule, who I had married in that run through, to Solstheim. I haven't touched the Dragonborn DLC in the Ultimate Edition yet. I don't know if I'm going to. But I brought Mule there, and I'm like, okay, that's fun. And we're just doing this until I found a Nord Hall that had been overrun by these little blue dudes. Called, like, Rieflings.
Yeah.
And I realized they can carry things, unlike a dog. And they can be a pet. They
take up the pet slot.
They fit the pet slot, not the follower slot. Except the thing is...
Follower slot.
Oh... oof. I wish I could just mod the game. I wish I could just play on PC and just get 15 people to follow me.
Yeah. I did it the hard way.
You did it the hard way, but it still works out so well. Get into a fight with a city like that.
I should just like...
You should find your old save and do that. It's on the PS3, right?
Yeah, it's on the PS3. Yeah, just... I could just record that.
Record that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So... it's a weird thing, so I first have to dismiss my follower, and then take the Riefling, and then get my follower back. Because it's just a pet, even though it's like a bit more than a pet. I dismiss Mule, and it's like sunset. Like the sun had just gone...
Oh, yeah, this story.
Yeah, and Mule has a person who follows her when she is not a follower in Riften. Just like a guy who helped nurse her back to health, and he's like always like, oh, Mule, you gotta be careful. The Thieves Guild has Maven Blackbriar at their back, even though you could just go to the Routways and kill them all right then. Mule, Jesus Christ. So I dismiss Mule for a second, and I look over the horizon. I see someone running towards us.
I thought he was swimming. He
was running from the horizon where the sun was setting.
Good God.
And I'm like, what? Who is that? And then he's like, Mule takes a lot of risks with the Thieves Guild. And I'm like, you? What are you doing here?
You stand here? You stand around waiting?
And he did it again when I made my Hearthfire home, and Mule was just living there, and then got kidnapped by bandits because she's Mule, and even though her name is Mule the Lioness and she's an adventurer, she got taken by bandits in her own home.
And he was living there, right? He was living with you?
He lives with us. He lives with us.
Who's the cuck here? You or him?
Him. Absolutely him.
He lives in your house, dude.
Shit.
He's not paying for that.
I made that house.
He's the cuck, but you're like a financial cuck.
I guess I'm the financial cuck.
That's the title of this episode.
I don't pay rent to myself. It's my land.
But he's not paying for it, and he just lives there.
He doesn't eat the food. No one eats food.
Then that's not a thing. If no one eats the food, then it's not weird that he doesn't eat the food.
Anyway. You didn't live there initially. Maybe. I have no idea. All I know is that Miel is forever glitched and always in her underwear, and I can't put armor on her anymore.
Oh, maybe she's the cuck.
Am I fucking the guy? When did that happen? Alright. But I go to the bandit hideout where they have her, and I see him at the start of the bandit hideout. Like, he is about to run the dungeon himself. And I'm like, what? He's gonna die, and he hasn't done anything. And I run through the dungeon, and that's when Miel is glitched. Miel does not have her armor on, and she's just idling, like standing back and forth, like she's adjusting how she's standing.
Oh, that's sad.
It's very sad, and they're just like, Miel takes some risks with the Thieves Guild. Like, get out of here, dude!
We are suffering!
My wife's in a catatonic state, man!
She took too many risks!
She took too many risks. So, the title is either, I guess I'm the financial cuck, or she took too many risks. Or is it, I guess my wife's the cuck?
Whose cuck is it anyways?
Terrible. I think we should just go.
Welcome back to 102. Here's your 100 episodes. We're already making the best of.
Oh, no.
What time are we at?
I don't know. Time to stop. 31 minutes.
That's probably fair, right? We didn't talk about save points at all.
We did not.
Save points.
No,
you gotta make a commitment, and we are not good at commitments.
Oh, I guess the Fallout 4 and the Skyrim difference is that Fallout 4 survival mode is a
It uses save points.
huge commitment, and save points are so crucial. And they help more than just save.
You can't just like bring a bed down anywhere. You can't just.
You can't. That'd be a mod to make a save point. Skyrim had a mod that I really wanted to play.
You can definitely do that with like what's the word? Towns? Settlements.
Settlements become a much better thing to invest in.
Because if there's a bed much closer all of a sudden.
And they're way stations.
Yeah.
Like, there are way stations to stack up, fill your empty bottles with water, collect some food, and get back in there. And store excess junk to... Because I've connected so many settlements to Sanctuary alone, to Tradewise, just because I've stored so many things there. Except Sanctuary is... Sanctuary... fuck, we're not done. Sanctuary as a settlement is the worst one to develop. And here's why. You're not going to be
close to it
ever.
Yeah.
Even if it's like the north, even if you're like very far north, there's still like Outpost Zimonja or like Sanctuary Bluff that will be closer by. And I guess Sanctuary Hills has the benefit of being so close to another settlement with the Red Rocket truck stop. But I think what kills me is that there's no settlements in the city.
Yeah. Can't you do that can't you make a settlement in the Diamond? I don't know.
You can make your house in Diamond City.
But that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work for a place that's like, you can only get an in for like 25 caps. I find myself stopping there a lot when I'm playing.
That's cool though. Seems like it'd be a lot of fun to play survival.
Oh, it's very fun. Especially for someone like you who's played very hard on vanilla Fallout 4, just breaking yourself on the settlement system. Everything feels so much better when you're playing it on survival.
It'd be really cool to have a settlement system that matters as opposed to just like something to do.
Also, in survival, jet is so much more important.
You get addicted to drugs real easy.
Well, that's why you gotta get chem resist. But yeah, Jet buff out, buff Jet is very good. Because you need that slowdown. You need that slowdown to be a good a good shooter, a good aim man.
Yes, that's the one. I feel like I was gonna say something.
That being said, I do wish there was I wish there was a carriage system in Fallout 4 that lets you get to a settlement. And
That's
then
that's what I was actually just
go
gonna
from
bring
settlement
up.
to settlement.
Because that's a thing in Skyrim, and it makes sense because there are trade routes.
Yeah, there's roads.
So you would really think that after a certain point you could make that.
Yeah.
I mean, because I guess it's this, but survival turns off fast traveling, right?
Yes.
So you'd think for survival they'd be like, hey, you can do this to just travel real easy.
Yeah, because it's just like, for all fun it is to like make the dangerous trek back to the cozy settlement.
Doing it over and over again.
Super tedious, and I understand it's survival and it has to be dangerous, but like, the path from Diamond City to Sanctuary is not dangerous.
It's just long.
It's just long and annoying.
Like,
And I'm just gonna stop at Starlight Drive-In and then stop there.
especially when the settlements can be under attack.
Yes.
Getting to
You have to drop everything and book it across the map.
yeah, that sounds like the worst part.
Yes.
Oh, we're Bubba.
But yeah, it's... Save points are good if they are more than just save points. It's good for the player to value them as safe areas.
Yeah.
But I can understand in this day and age when, like, scheduling can be a nightmare, that saving whenever you want is very crucial.
Yeah. It feels like so there's a factor to it just being like a gameplay design where you're like, okay, it's harder because of the commitment, and then there's definitely a factor to why can't I just autosave?
Yeah.
Like Persona 3, I'm basically done playing because I forgot to save before a boss,
Ooh.
then died in that boss after like literally a day of grinding. And then I was like, well, when did I save though? When was my last save? And it was like, oh yeah, like an in-game month beforehand. And I was like, so I'm fucking done with this then, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you should have saved more. And it's like, the game should have offered me more save points. Because I didn't save it in school. And then that night was a full moon or whatever it is, which is like a boss battle. Like a big boss event. And I think there was something about it that the normal spot I saved in was skipped.
Oh.
Didn't save it in school, didn't save it at the apartment or the dorms because I can normally save before entering Tartarus.
Yeah.
And that's where I always save it. And that was skipped. So I forgot to save it, died in the boss fight because it's just stupid goddamn bullshit game.
Of course, it's an RPG.
Yeah. And I was just like, I'm done. Like, there's a value to this being, like, a difficulty thing. Like, remember to manage your resources, save it often. But if you're going to punish me that bad for saving it, just give me an autosave.
Yeah.
Like, let me press start. Let me save it. Maybe not in a battle. Outside of battle. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, it's bad. That has been episode 102 of Cookies and Milk.
Yep. Episode 102. Oreos are good as always.
Yep.
Milk is cold.
Yes, it is. Makes you realize things about yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been your host, William.
I'm your host, Ben.
Tune in next time for more cookies and more milk and more video game talk. Because we can find something to talk about.
Always find something.
Always find something. Anyway, bye-bye.